Let's break down 4 different parts of the brain and how they work just a little bit differently in autistic children. Don't worry guys, we're not going to completely nerd out with this, we're going to keep it pretty straightforward. First and foremost, we have the prefrontal cortex, and the prefrontal cortex is the one that a lot of people know. It's the part of the brain that controls focus, attention, planning, emotional regulation, and this is something that a lot of kids have trouble with. What you'll see as we go through these different parts of the brain is if the part of the brain isn't working at its most optimal, if it's disconnected of some sorts, a lot of times people are going to experience symptoms related back to that part of the brain. Also, it's important to note that autistic children's brains are not damaged. There's no damage to it, but they're wired a little bit differently, and that's okay. Next is the parietal lobe. The parietal lobe is our main sensory part of the brain, so it detects where we are in space and also different sensations that happen to our body. Dysfunction in the parietal lobe could lead to all sorts of sensory dysregulation. This could be hypersensitivity to touch, so don't touch me. This could be craving touch, craving deep pressure, but it also senses the world around us. So this could be walking into things, being a little bit more clumsy. Next is the cerebellum. This is the tiny little part in the back of your brain, but believe it or not, there's more neurons in that small part of the brain than the big part of your brain, so it's a very important structure. The cerebellum is in charge of turning muscles on and off, so this could result in things like poor posture, poor muscle tone, poor coordination, but there's even emerging research that shows that the cerebellum has a pretty big part in cognition as well. Finally is the basal ganglia. I know it looks like a little snake here, but the basal ganglia isn't actually a lobe of the brain, but rather it's a group of different neurons that work together to perform a function. This is deep inside your brain, so if you're looking at a picture of the brain, you can't actually see your basal ganglia. Now, the basal ganglia is essentially a big funnel, so there's a go loop and a stop loop. And a lot of children have too much go and not enough stop, which could lead to things like stimming, like OCD, like tics, like anxiety, because there's too much go, there's too much gas pedal and not enough brake pedal. Understanding how each part of the brain works is essential in our practice because what we're trying to do is figure out what areas of the brain are weak in a specific child and how can we activate those parts of the brain to help make them stronger. The same way that you're able to work out a muscle by doing bicep curls to make it stronger, you're able to give the brain stimulation to help make it stronger as well.